to NIW Approved, your ultimate guide to navigating the National Interest Waiver Green Card process with confidence. Hi, I'm Gertrude Onuoha, ESQ, an immigration attorney with years of experience helping professionals like you achieve their dreams through the NIW Green Card process. Whether you're an engineer, scientist, artist, or entrepreneur, you're in the right place. Here on NIW Approved, we provide expert tips for building a strong case, real-life success stories, answers to your most pressing questions, and actionable strategies to navigate your NIW journey with ease. Ready to take the next step in your immigration journey? Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing community of professionals turning their expertise into approval. Don't just dream it, get it approved. Subscribe now, and let's make your NIW success story the next one.
Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, NIW Approved, a channel that provides immigration information for your transformation. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome to everyone that's live today. Guys, today I'm going to be talking about a very hot button issue, which is student visa revocation. We all know what's going on. A lot of students have had their visas revoked, and this is causing a lot of panic. It's causing a lot of fear. It's causing a lot of trepidation in the international student community. So hopefully I can clarify one or two issues. And of course, if you know anybody who is affected, or if you have any questions, I will be taking a few questions regarding this issue, just to clarify some of the legal implications of this issue. As you all know, I'm Gertrude Onuoha. I'm a licensed attorney, and I practice from the state of New York, and with service clients all over the United States and even outside the United States. Well, I just want to start on a good note. Now, the good note is that two of my clients got their green cards approved this week. I mean, one of them is in the US and the other one is in the UK, and it was all through the EB-2 NIW pathway. So, having said the good news, let's get back to reality, which is the revocation of student visas. Guys, we all know who a student is. We all know who an international student is, but I'm going to just say an international student is one schooling in the United States, right? And carrying out research. They're here solely to study. Okay, we all know that. And right now we're seeing revocations, we're seeing terminations. So the question is, what is the difference between revocation and termination? So if you're getting a revocation, it means you are already on student status, okay? And let's just say, when we talk about student status, it could be F1, it could be J1, it could be M1. And the bad thing about this is that if you have a dependent, whatever happens to the principal applicant automatically affects the dependent. So this is not just a one person thing. Sometimes it's a whole family issue, and that's why we're really addressing this issue today. Now, when it comes to revocation, it means the visa has been cancelled. It's been taken from you. You cannot travel with that visa any longer. Okay. And two, it depends on, again, the details, and we'll get to that. Now, when it comes to termination of your service, it means that your status here in the United States has been terminated. And that is really bad. That's not even a good thing at all. So, um, these things are happening, and a lot of students are experiencing trauma. They're experiencing fear, anxiety, trepidation, and of course, you name it. And that is not, when it comes to revocation, just understand that revocation of student visa is nothing new. There's nothing new about that. I've been practicing now for some years. Over the years, we've seen student visas being revoked. We've seen termination of student status, and we've had to sometimes help these students get reinstatement. Okay, so this is nothing new in one sense, but in another sense, I think just the wave of it, right? And then, of course, some of the reasons that have been added makes it very, very interesting. So today I'm going to really try my best to answer as many questions as I can, just to clarify the concepts. And please, guys, don't forget to like, share, and of course comment. If you have any question, you can ask on the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer your question. And of course, subscribe, share this video with other international students who need information. Guys, this is a time when information is key, the right information, and you can be sure we will provide you with the right information. So having said that, I'm going to start taking questions, and just note that this is solely for educational purposes. If you have any problem and you need help, you can reach out to us at go-attorney.com. We have been helping students for many years, not just because of this situation. We service a lot of international students. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. On that note, I'm going to take my first question. Okay, thank you very much for this question. It says, what are the most common and avoidable mistakes that lead to F1 revocation or termination? Again, guys, we've talked about the difference between termination and revocation. All right, so some of the top reasons, and I call them top reasons. For example, if you have a criminal issue, any kind of criminal issue can trigger revocation and or termination. So any kind of criminal issue can actually trigger that. Violation of your student status by maybe unauthorized work. So if you engage in unauthorized work and you get caught, um, your visa status will be terminated. Um, Not showing up for classes, or not taking the required credit, or if you're involved in any kind of um, disciplinary issue with your institution that could trigger, the termination of your status, depending on how grievous the criminal issue is. And finally, if what you have done is considered to be a threat to the national security of the United States, these are some reasons that could lead to revocation or termination. Again, if you have been terminated, of course, instantly you lose your status. From that moment, you begin to trigger unauthorized presence in the United States. Whereas if it's revocation, you your visa has been revoked, but your status might still be intact. Again, at the end of the day, you just have to work with your international student office to find out what the actual state of things are. Let's go to our next question. If a student accidentally violates their visa conditions, what immediate steps should they take to protect their legal right? Well, I would say it's a good thing that you realize that you have violated, right? So reach out to the International Student Office. Guys, don't play with the International Student Office. You have to work with them. The International Student Office is an office that's instituted to help and cater for international students, right? So you have to reach out to your office, that office immediately, to let them know what has happened, and they will let you know what your next steps would be. In some cases, depending on what the level of violation is, you may need to hire an attorney, an immigration attorney. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next question. How can international students position themselves now to remain compliant, build a strong case for future immigration benefits like national interest waiver? Well, this is what I just want to say. You are an international student, right? The primary reason why you're here is to study. You are far away from home, most likely. You're away from father, you're away from your mother, you're away from your family, right? You're here to study. So the first thing you want to do is to be compliant with the rules and regulations of the country where you're studying. That's just a no-brainer, right? You want to make sure that academically you are taking the right credits. And if you're not sure, ask question. It's better for you to over ask than for you to assume, because ignorance of the law, it's never been and will not be an excuse, right? Professionally, you want to make sure that you are also liaising with the right persons or advisors on campus. Most institutions have advisors. They would really cater for you, ask questions. Of course, you want to network, you want to interact with your international student office, and legally, you want to make sure that you comply with the law of the land. So we see situations where people, again, I'm not telling you what is right or wrong or what to do with your life, right? As an international student, I'm just saying that some of the revocations we're seeing today is as a result of things that have to do with maybe drugs or parking ticket violations, criminal issues. So, as much as possible, you want to stay away from things like that, right? Milling around in the night parties, just being wild. If you're driving, you know that you have to be careful. You can't be driving and drinking alcohol, right? Or being high on drugs. You're going to kill somebody. You're going to hit somebody. You're going to do something wrong. So you have to position yourself where you avoid these things, right? There are some things that international students do with their American citizens friend. Of course, if it's a criminal issue, the American citizen is going to be punished, you will be punished. But at the end of it all, the American citizen, they are citizens of this country. They get to stay, right? Even though they've served their punishment, you have to go. So, knowing all these things should put you in a very sober position where you know why you are here. You're here to get a degree, you're here to undertake a research. And if possible, if things work out really good for you, you might, work here in the United States during your OPT, or even maybe get H-1B. And who knows, you might get a green card and you become a citizen. So if this getting a green card, living here in the United States is like a long-term plan, or even if you want to return, the bottom line is that while you are in this F1 status, you have to respect the status. You have to respect the status. You have to, don't take it as if it's a birthright. It's not a birthright. You're just here. You've been given permission to come here to study. So as much as possible, try to respect that and just do what is right. Okay? And if you're not sure, reach out to the International Student Office. Okay, any other question? What legal or academic support system should international students be aware of on their campus and in their community? Well, the truth of the matter is that institutions will always provide support systems. Okay, I cannot speak to those support systems, but just note that there will be support systems on campus. At a time like this, a lot of international students are worried about deportation, and rightly so, because if you have received termination of your status, that means you cannot even attend classes. Like, that is huge. And if you have submitted an application for green card, or you have submitted an application for your I-140 petition, depending on why your status was revoked, right? So, for example, if it's for criminal issues or if it's for something that's really grievous, it has a way of impacting even your application for your green card. Because for you to move from students, for you to get your green card, to adjust your status, you have to move from one good status to another. Okay, so if your student status has been terminated, then you really want to look into this because it might affect you, right? um Also, I do know that if you have the EB-1 or EB-2, you might be able to seek for a waiver. That's possible if you're the if you have certain maybe unlawful presence for about 6 months or unauthorized work for about 6 months or 180 days, you might be able to seek for a waiver. But again, guys, these things can definitely affect your green card application. It can also affect your I-140 application. So you need to be very, very careful. Now, I also want to say that with regards to your your community, right? There are mental health services that your school provide. This is a time when you should take advantage of it, especially if it's free, right? I would say definitely be in a group, talk with people. Don't be a lone ranger at a time like this. I would also say if you're a student and you're interested, there's an organization, International Students for Christ. Their link is going to be shared. If you want to join that kind of group, maybe you need help. Don't do anything funny. Don't commit suicide. Don't make a irrational decision because of what has happened to you. Try and seek for counseling, seek for help, and hopefully, I'm not an expert in psychological issues, but this is just common sense, So don't do anything irrational. Yeah. Any other? Okay, this question says, what practical strategies can international students use to manage the mental health stress and anxiety associated with immigration uncertainty? Okay, I already talked about that. And like I said, I am not an expert when it comes to psychological issues, but definitely take advantage of what has been offered on campus. Some schools may be offering, counseling at a time like this. Also, you can take advantage of just scheduling a consultation with an attorney to know what the legal implication, what are your options. Just knowing what are your options, getting more knowledge and information can really alleviate your stress. You might so, and again, I'm going to be sharing my phone number and my website. Make an appointment, just call and try to find out, okay, what are my options. Just knowing your options might even alleviate your stress, because with the revoke if you got just a revocation and you're doing everything right, so your status was not terminated, it just means that, okay, you might be able to be here again, depending on the details. I don't know the details, and continue your studies. But once you leave, you cannot come back on that visa. Okay, just getting the right information and knowing what your options are can really help. Now, for some persons, we do know that some people have said they didn't do anything. Again, you need to talk to a lawyer, you need to talk to an immigration attorney, and just getting legal advice can sort of alleviate your stress. Talking to the international student office, make an appointment, talk to your international student office, sit down with them, try to find out what the notations are on that document that was issued. They may give a reason, there might be some explanations. You want to go over that with your international student office. Just getting the right information can even help you to alleviate your stress, right? But I know that that's not the finalized, solution, but at least that could help. And then, of course, if you get a notice to appear in immigration court, then that's definitely, you have to find your way to an immigration lawyer's office so that at least they can help you, figure it out. Do we have any more questions? Okay, this question says, at what point should a student consult an immigration attorney, and what should they prepare for before the consultation? This is a very good question. Generally, if you have any criminal issue in the world of immigration, you want to start talking to an immigration attorney. You really want to, if you have any criminal issue, if you've received any kind of revocation, if you've received termination of status letters, even before you take a decision to travel, because some students are at the point where they're like, okay, I'm going to leave and all that. Yes, sometimes before you leave, you want to find out your options, right? Because some have made applications, okay, Are you able, how does this impact your application? Is consular processing from your country possible? So before you travel, before you leave finally or temporarily, you definitely want to consult with an immigration attorney. And what should you prepare for before the consultation? Gather all your paperwork. You want to gather the paperwork. Lawyers don't do magic, right? They work with what the data you provide to them. So you want to definitely gather your paperwork. If you've received a revocation, you want to show it to them. You want to show them your I-20. You want to show them your passport, your I-94, whatever document that you think they will need. You definitely want to show them. And of course, even after showing them, they may ask for additional documents. You definitely want to give it to them and work with them so that this process can really be smooth. We definitely understand right now that this is a very traumatic situation for a lot of international students, but yeah, my advice is that you need to stay calm and try as much as possible to give us a call or schedule an appointment so that you can know what your options are. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, how do visa violations or revocation impact future application for work authorizations or green card petitions such as EB-2 NIW? Guys, I can tell you now, it does impact. Let's not deceive any, let's not just play with words here. If your visa has been revoked or terminated, again, you need to see, once you get this letter, you need to talk with your international student office. You might get a revocation letter, but you need to find out from them if you got the termination of your service, because that's the big one, right? That's the big one. If that happens and you have an EAD application that is pending or you're planning to, it's not going to work with the termination of your status. It's not going to work because you have been terminated. You're no longer a student. You're not eligible for OPT, CPT, 20 hours of work on campus, all those good stuff that come with student status. You're no longer eligible. So you really need to try to find out if your status has been terminated. And if you even haven't received any letter, right, or anything, you need to just ask. You can find out if everything is okay, because sometimes even the schools, they're not even aware of these terminations. You see, they're not even aware. So you need to find out from your international student office if you are still in good standing. Yeah, you need to find out. So how does it impact your EB-2 NIW or your green card application? It really does, because if your status has been terminated and you have not tried to reinstate, then again, adjustment might be a challenge, except you either try to restate or seek a waiver, depending on what kind of green card you're applying for. But yes, these things do affect. They really, really do affect. And for those of you that are interested in seeking for reinstatement, feel free to give us a call. We've helped international students, many of international students who have, you know, lost their status in the past. We've been able to help them regain status through reinstatement. So if you're seeking for reinstatement, you have to act fast, because you want to make sure that you're within that 5 months window. Okay. And of course, you do not want to be unlawfully present in the United States so that you don't get picked up. So those are some things I can just say that are options when it comes to this whole issue about revocation and termination. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Okay. In the absence of any question, all I will say is that, again, two important things. Number one, or three, let me say three. Number one, stay calm. I know that's hard. Also, work with your international student office and also get legal advice. Get legal advice, contact an immigration law firm, let them help you. We also help students get legal advice. Stay in touch with your international student office, avoid trouble, stay intact, and continue to maintain your status. And guys, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. This will benefit you. We talked about how to, even prevent some of these things. Some of these things have to do with knowledge. The information, guys, let me tell you something about international students or even any foreigner. You are responsible for your immigration information. As much as we like to say, okay, work with the international student office, sometimes they tell you, go get your lawyer. Okay, that's what they tell students. Go, somebody just contacted me. He has already contacted the international student office, and they say, go get a lawyer. You are responsible for your information in the United States. You are responsible for the information that you consume. So, one way to avoid trouble is to consume the right information. Get the right information. And on this channel, we provide you with the right information. So if you have not subscribed, go ahead right now, subscribe, 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 and then share, like, make your comments, and we'll try as much as possible to respond. Share this video with a lot of international students who are going through one turmoil or the other, experiencing fear and challenge. Hopefully, the situation gets resolved. And one last option is to go back home, because sometimes it's better for you to go back than to sit down here and accrue unlawful presence. So, what is unlawful presence? When you are here without status. If your status has been your visa revoked, status terminated, unlawful presence is triggered. And guess what? If you stay here 180 days and under, you get a penalty of 3 years. And if you stay 1 year in unlawful status, you get 10 years ban. You can't come back to the United States. So if everything fails, um, just going back might be an option for some persons. Okay. Again, feel free to give us a call, and you can send me an email, and also you can schedule a consultation. We will have a robust conversation with you and see how we can help you. Thank you all for joining today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all the beautiful questions. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you.